capacity to completely flatten us, obliterate us, and wipe us off the map. Monday the 30th of December at 7 a.m. and we're in the yard. We're continuing with the infrastructure work which needs to be in place before the lorries start to get busy again in 2025. Some of the ducting you saw us put in weekly of last week. This ducting runs underneath the slab, which is part of the new wheel wash area. Today we need to continue excavating, but we're going to go across in front of the gate, which means that you will not be able to get in and out the yard with any machines or vehicles. So we've asked everyone to park outside the yard today so we can make sure that we get this done. We also have the work to do to widen our gate and put a steel in place for our new post. It looks like overkill, but with a steel of that size, it means that once we hang a heavy gate on it, it's not going to sag. Our plan in this Christmas break is also to pour a big slab next to the railway B stops so we can pick up the fuel tank and move the fuel tank over. This is also very important because we believe that the fuel tank is beginning to sink because the ground in that area is very marshy and sloppy. We need to dig it out, build up with some recycled material and then pour a slab. However, we need to focus our attention in this area first. With this duct in place, we can now run the power to the wheel wash reservoir, but we need to work out what we're going to do right here. The lovely slab which we've poured for the wheel wash, we need to work out, are we going to put material here and build up a slope, or are we going to pour some more concrete to create a more long-lasting solution? Hard to know what to do. If we put in material here, it will be a lot quicker and we can get it done within a couple of hours. However, over time, it's going to wear away with the heavy traffic. If we pour concrete here, it may stop us doing the work over the other side because we're going to run out of time. So we'll have to push on as best we can and see how it goes. Anyway, let's crack on with the work and get it done. At first, we complete the shuttering and then begin the work on the trench. Due to the size of the ducts and depth of concrete we'd like to pour, we're excavating roughly 1 meter deep. But we're not taking the trench that far, as we still need vehicles to be able to get in and out the yard. A couple of weeks back, you saw me talking about decisions that need to be made, running loss leaders, and the current economy how it is, and if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. I told you that we will no longer be doing skips, but I am happy to say that the skip lorries and the skips are going to a good home. Now this is important for a number of reasons, because we've taken very good care of those lorries and they've been on full Scania R&M, and we bought all of our skips brand new except for our grab boxes. I want them to go to someone who's going to use them and continue running the skips as diligently as we were. Plus, I don't want them to drop a skip there and then try to nick our work if the person who actually takes control of it does concrete and grabs and tippers as well. So, drum roll. The skips and skip lorries are going to my good friend, Michael O'Donovan. We can't make the skips work, but he's been doing it, as he likes to remind me, for the last 40 years, and we wish him all the best. I'll be sad to see the skip lorries go, but you need to take your heart out of it and use your head, because if you keep using your heart and not your head, then you're going to end up with nothing left. I have tried to make it work. There's only so long which you can continue to flog a dead horse, and with the state of the market currently, we can no longer just wish for the best and think it's going to pick up next month. So I've had to take affirmative action. The coast is clear, so the trench work continues. Before installing the ducts, we lay sand to create a bed and then use connectors to join the lengths. Oh man, this is a big old trench. In most of the yard, the ground is very marshy, but in this area, the material's being compacted so well, and as we get through these levels, we see kind of like when you look at the earth from the side, and then you see the dinosaur bones, and then you see the lava and all the different layers. One example of that is our video on Glen Sander. Click here to watch that video where we show all the levels of the earth, which is Meds' least favorite graphic that he has ever done. As we excavate to make sure we have space, Peter's in the grab, taking all of the material from here, taking it round to another part of the yard. The sand is here ready. First things first, we just need to fill this area, get it up to the shuttering so we can then lay out the membrane and put the mesh in place. But then we're going to work on this because this must be poured today as well. If it's going to be this big, we may as well try to make it that bit bigger so we have a nice bit of concrete for the lorries as they enter and leave the yard. All this ducting looks lovely, but we need to see if it actually works. First bit of cable that we're gonna pull through is gonna be from the weighbridge to the wheel wash reservoir. We're gonna put a little camera in there, see how it works, to see if we see anything within our fantastic ducting. With the excavation complete and the ducts installed, we begin to pack with sharp sand. A sheet of shuttering ply is installed as an endpoint and mould for the concrete, and then the sand is compacted. Now really and truly, we could use a much cheaper sand here, but all the suppliers are currently closed and we have healthy stock levels due to our stockpiling last week. Come in then.
What's happening down there?
We're digging it. Why have you got so much aftershave on?
What's so much aftershave on?
Where'd you get that toilet water?
That's not toilet water, that's Old Spice, that's it.
This is our new trench, Michael, so we can run power across to this area. Big old duct. We can now run cables from this side. Why are you pulling that funny face? Why are you pulling that face? I'm going to change that post. Our townie is going to weld some additional pieces on this gate so the gate gets a lot bigger. We're also pouring the slab. That's the new slab from the wheel wash. So when you come off the wheel wash, you drive out the yard.
You won't take the gate with them?
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea, is I presume?
Yes.
Right, okay. But I guarantee you they will take the gate with them.
Thank you, Michael. Your help is always appreciated. Yeah. I'm just going to get this trench in, wheel wash operational, put a nice concrete slab for the fuel tank to go on top of, level out some of the areas here with some recycled gear, and
very good.
We're getting there. How was Christmas?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah, very nice.
I need a bit of help. Just help us a little bit. Let's get this whacker plate started up, and if you could just do a little bit in the trench there for me. Slow down.
If I come back, I'll see you on the way back.
Ah, okay. A flying visit from Michael, come to show us how to use the whacker. Peter's just reversing up now, and we are now ready to pour this concrete. We're actually pouring the trench before we pour the slab. And you can see the depth the concrete is going to be built up to. Now, some may argue that this is a bit excessive, me being one of them, but there's so much traffic that's going to come out in and out of this yard and we need to protect this duct as best we can. And this duct is going to be in the ground here for the next 50 years. So we thought we're not going to do what we did over here, which was bring the concrete just beneath the level. We're going to take this and bring it all the way up so it's flush with the front gate slab out there. I'm aware that this doesn't look pretty. I'm aware that we butchered our trench here because we were trying to work at speed, but I needed to get the concrete in as soon as possible so it can be dried. The more time this gets to dry before lorries start going over it, the stronger it will be. If the levels in the yard end up being higher than this eventually, we can always build on top of this. I just need this in and I need it dry. So forgive me if it doesn't look like the slab we've done over here, or it doesn't look to the standard of work that many people think it should. The point is it's in and it's going to be dry, and we'll be able to drive over it without it sinking and without it cracking, and the duct and cables will be protected. It's already nearly dry. It's a good day's work. Slab poured, trench poured. We're not going to work on this tomorrow, and we'll have to pick this up on the 2nd of January, which gives us Thursday, Friday and Saturday to get this area sorted out and pour a slope over this side so lorries can get onto the slab safely without falling off or mounting a curb. And that's it for Monday. The 31st of December. It's the last day of 2024 and we're in the yard. My friend Aidan at Harrier sent one of his lorries in to get some dry lean mix, which Peter used one of our volumetrics to drop on the floor, loaded it onto the grab, and they were out of the yard nice and early to continue with their essential works to ensure that we all have electricity, cable, television and water, which works. Not gonna do a recap of the year because it doesn't feel right. Because even though it's the end of the year and some may look at it as a cut-off and a fresh start, we are in the middle of a number of issues, challenges and projects which aren't even nearly finished. So there's no clean line that we can draw and then say we're going to start again. There's going to be a lot going on in the coming months, and much of it is uncertain, and all I can do is put my best foot forward. We are in a number of fights and scraps which don't require you to throw lefts and rights or kick or roll or put someone in a rear naked chokehold, but it requires thought and it requires timing and execution. And we always seem to find ourselves in a fight with someone in a much heavier weight category with more resources, a larger team, with the ability and capacity to completely flatten us, obliterate us, and wipe us off the map. And they never play fair either. So we need to be calculated and execute with impeccable timing, and there are no guarantees that anything we do will work or we will succeed, but all we can do is fight, because the alternative is to just say, okay, like you could just do whatever you want and it will be the end of us. You have to lie down for people to walk over you. And while sometimes you may appear to be lying down, you're not really lying down, you're just waiting patiently for a perfect time to make a move. And none of this actually generates any revenue or is anything to do with making money or any new jobs. It's always a fight just to stop yourself from being flattened by someone a lot bigger than you. And these are the continuous fights we have. And there's always someone new trying to get in there with an uppercut to make you unconscious. But, you know they say, why don't you pick on people your own size? Why would they ever pick on someone their own size? Doesn't really make sense for them, does it? So we have to do what we can and be agile in order to survive and hopefully eventually move forward. It's the last day of 2024 and we're in the yard. Had a little walk around the pedestrian walkways in the yard and removed any obstacles or boulders or anything big which may cause a trip hazard. Just doing a run around of some scrap. You remember in Weekly a couple of weeks back that motor failed. Well, the old motor is here now. That's to go in the scrap bin. Oops, Silo's kicked in. And over by the storage container there's a load of barrels which are empty, so we need to flatten those barrels, also throw them in the scrap bin because they're just hanging around doing nothing. We're also across the perimeter here picking up bits of rubbish because members of the public walk them, throw it over the fence. And I'm just going through all of the straps, and any of the straps or ratchet straps which are not rolled up properly, they're all coming out and they need to be all rolled up again and put back in here for storage. So when we do go to use them, they're actually how they are meant to be and people aren't trying to roll them up again. Right. All right. 1, 2, 3. As the day begins to close out and the yard is quiet, I'm just taking some time to reflect on 2024 as a whole. Did 2024 go as I would hoped? No, it was a difficult year. However, were my goals realistic? Because I'm not a person who's ever realistic about any of my goals. I believe that being realistic can hold you back. For instance, if the person who created electricity listened to people who say,
it isn't realistic to walk into a room and flick a switch and a light will turn on,
we wouldn't have that today. It has been a tough year. I've tried to navigate it as best I can, but can I really complain? I can look at people who are in much better positions and I can look at people who are in much worse positions. I guess the only thing I can really do is be thankful for how far I've come and the company has come and realize that we're still in the fight. And generally, when you think that you're suffering, you're kind of suffering more in your own mind than you actually are, because you really want to get to a place. And if you feel like you're not getting there, it often really affects you on a day-to-day basis. It can actually spur you on and give you drive to keep going. But as I sit here summarizing the year, thinking about how it started and how it ended, I'm not pleased with it, but I have to be thankful for where we are and what we have. Next year, I'm going to try and find a way to deal with problems that isn't as negative as I have sometimes been this year. But sometimes I feel when you talk through the problem, you can find the solution when you're doing it. I just have to make sure that I don't dwell on it too much, because while you're talking about negativity, you're going to bring yourself more and you're possibly lowering the tone and the energy amongst yourself and your team. I want to do great things at Ashville. But at the same time, maybe I have to rein back in some of the plans which I share. It's a bit of a battle trying to be transparent and bring everyone on the journey, but plans change, circumstances change, and if you blurted out every single plan you ever had, I'd almost appear like a madman and then back myself into a corner where I feel that I said I was going to do something, so now I have to do it no matter what, even if possibly it's not the best way to move forward now. I said it, so I'm going to have to do it. Thank you to everyone who watched in 2024. I wish you a happy new year, and I will see you in 2025. All the best. It's Wednesday, the 1st of January, 2025, and I'm not in the yard. The yard is closed today, and unfortunately there's heavy rain, which is going to mess up all of our plans for the infrastructure work in the yard, which is going to start again tomorrow morning. Trained this morning because I'm trying to start the year as I mean to go on. When I finished training and I had my ice plunge, and then I began to sit down, and rather than map out the plan for 2025 and my New Year's resolutions, I decided to write down the worst decisions that I made in 2024 and try to trace them back to their root. So if I feel that I shouldn't have done a particular thing, then I'm like, right, well, firstly, I'm not going to do that again, but why did I do it? Was it information? Was I too gung-ho? And I'm going to get to that point. I was like, well, where did that information come from? Why was I so gung-ho? I'm trying to take it all the way back to the source, ultimately finding the source of those decisions. And of course, irrespective of what's happened, I'm the one who made those decisions or allowed them to happen, or they happened on my watch. So I'll put some key ones down. No, I'm not going to tell you what they are. And then I did a few goals for 2025. And the first one was, don't do the mistakes of 2024 or 2023. Don't carry them over. Heading back home, gonna work from home in the office. I always do a lot more work when I'm by myself and I have a quiet surrounding, but that's not possible with the type of businesses within Ashville. So I'm gonna make use of the time and wish all of you a happy and prosperous 2025.
Thursday, we're in the yard. We've excavated so we can fit our oversized steel in, and we're just trying to work out the levels. So once we've dropped it in the ground to be concreted, we're going to finish flush with the top of the post here, which is exactly 8 foot. We're then going to use the material, what you can see around here, to try and pack the areas around it. And I've got to find a way to get out this hole without embarrassing myself. I could just lift this up easy.
Yeah. That's something cool.
No way.
No way, man.
Hey, take straps and tie it to the fence. Yeah. Okay, perfect. There's been a burst of inspiration, a fantastic new idea. Stay with me. We're going to move the plant hire storage area to the other side of this plant hire section over there. Now this area is going to become the tire fitting area. We're going to pour a slab which is going to be relatively high in relation to the level here, so the rainwater runs this way, and the new slab we're going to run 6-meter scaffold tubes into it as support to build a shelter around, and we're going to tie in the slab here to the slope to get up to the wheel wash slab. To get started on this new diabolical scheme, we're going to begin to park all the lorries here, but before we do that, we're going to do a fleet check. We're going to check each tire on every single lorry. We're going to carry out any work that needs to be done, and when the tires are perfect on the lorries, we're going to begin to park them in this section. We've managed to get ourselves a new manhole cover, which can take up to 40 tons, which will be perfectly good. The reinforced mesh is in place. We are ready to pour concrete. The first day of 2025 has been a very productive one. Remember in weeks and weeks back, I went and got myself involved in an auction I had no business being involved in. I got drawn in and I ended up buying an office and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. Well, I've actually sold the office to one of my friends. They're going to be installing it very soon in one of their new sites, and I may be able to bring you some of that footage showing them setting up their new depot. So it has gone to a good home. We're not out of pocket, and I have managed to gain experience to never ever involve myself in an auction of offices which look like they're going cheap, but when you actually investigate how much money you got to spend to take it apart, transport it and put it back together, it's actually very expensive. There's a cold wind front what's hitting London, and it wasn't at the time we poured it, but now the temperature has dropped to 0 degrees. The concrete's already started drying, but it hasn't dried as much as I would like it to. It's gonna drop to -3 this evening. We are hoping that by then our concrete would have dried out to a point where it's not gonna suffer from the cold weather. But as I said, a great start to 2025. I am now gonna lock up, and that'll be it for Thursday. It's Friday morning, and we're in the yard. It is now -1, and it dropped to -3 last night. I've had to pull out the north face to keep me warm. We're trying to work out our drainage levels and our cutoff point. We believe our cutoff point will be here. The gate over here for mainline access and the gate here are exactly level. So if everything from here runs this way and then a central part runs that way to a drain, all of this rainwater should be handled. And if these areas run here and then we have a central part running that way, and over by the steel stillage area and the workshop, the water all runs this way and into a central channel, we should be able to manage our rainwater accurately. the wheel wash and wheel wash reservoir is 10 centimeters higher than the slab for the weighbridge. So if we get all our dimensions in every corner and we measure 10 times, we should be able to put the plan in place and bit by bit do the concrete in the yard and handle the rainwater. Here's our lovely plan, courtesy of Bartusz, our electrician, who, in case you didn't know, studied at university to be a surveyor. Train line, this is the current workshop, and this is our front gate. We have all the levels of the wheel wash, of the weighbridge, and the current slab where the workshop is. And Bartek has marked out all the distances. Using these dimensions, we can calculate exactly what the fall of the new concrete slab is going to be. So we had a plan, but we thought we'd measure and put it on paper. This has slightly changed the work which we're going to do, so it's a good thing we did this first. This machine has been busy working in the yard. It's going out on hire on Monday. We're just taking a look around it and giving it a bit of a grease. We diverted the planned work in the yard for today because of how cold it is. We were lagging some of the water pipe around the back, and we were fitting something which could heat some of the other pipes when it drops below 3 degrees. But in doing that, we then checked the forecast, and we were trying to plan tomorrow and next week, and it's going to be so cold that there's no point in doing it. The work that we have to do over here, we have to build up the material slightly, but when it's this cold, it's not accurate when you're compacting it and pouring the concrete like this. And so we had grand plans for this area and to create a slab over the other side near the B stops for the fuel tank, but we're just going to put it all on hold. We've got to just wait another week or so till we have better weather. But what Ollie is going to do now is remove these 3 jersey barriers and the 3 jersey barriers over there, so we can take all of the plant out of here and put it round here rather than going all the way round this way. We can use material, some recycled material, to create a slope to get up to the slab to go on the wheel wash. It's not ideal, it's not what I want to do, but the weather is currently circumstances beyond our and my control. It's Saturday and we're in the yard. We dropped the ramp into place, but we've realized it's very close here, and as the lorries go over, it's going to put pressure on it and it's going to keep hitting the pipe. So we're going to take it back off, and then we're going to use a grinder and we're going to cut off the metal in this area and then place it back. And I'm probably going to have to beat it down a bit. A couple of weeks ago, while the fabber fixed it, he had to use a block and pulley and pull it and jack it at the same time to get it straight. So it's kind of warped, but it's nice and strong now. There you go. Oh, hold on. I got it. Yeah. Yep, you're in. Should be on the edge. Okay. There we go. Come on, pull it. Hold on. Oh, wait, hold on. Don't move. Are you in? Ah, that's perfect. A little bit more. Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, well, happy's a strong word, Ollie, but you know. We're gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I'll show you where. So we'll go on the other side of this, yeah?
Yeah.
So we'll go here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And then we'll go to...
2 panels?
Yeah, 2 panels. 1, 2, 3 again, straight on. And then we'll drop the buckets here. To park, they drive up here. That's what we want. Block that area.
These two here, obviously wherever the blocks.
Yeah, the blocks, it's not, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be exactly spot on. Yeah. Oh, we like that. That's good enough for you to start, innit, Ollie? We want to be like here.
Outside.
Outside, just so they don't go too close.
Yeah.
Ground gets a little more solid. We're about to test the wheel wash. Just gonna check how much water is in it. Ew. Tank number 3 is empty. Tank number 2 is also empty. and tank number 1 is full. What we hope will happen, the water from this tank will pump into the wheel wash, and then the return water will come through that pipe into here. And then, if the water isn't completely frozen, we hope that this begins to fill this tank again, and the cycle will continue until all 3 of these tanks are full. Time to test the return pump. Okay, let's do it. It's definitely working. Ah, there's a problem with the pipe. Try that. That'll do. Monday is going to be the 6th of January, and most people will be going back to work. The lorries aren't extremely busy. There's only 4 of them out, but I suspect what will happen when people get back in on Monday, they'll make bookings for Tuesday, and by Tuesday, the lorries will be out busy, our new reduced size fleet, which means that by the end of Monday, I have to try and sort out the work which we're doing here. Move across the plant hire bits, move the buckets, put the barriers down, and compact this area so lorries can begin to park here. Didn't get everything I wanted done this week, but then again, I never do. The team put in work, we tried our best, and the plan kept changing, but we kept trying to evolve. And all I can really do is spend some time now putting together a work list to hit the ground running on Monday, so we can tackle all of the issues and ensure that, most importantly, that the lorries are going to be going onto the road clean with our new wheel wash. Before Bartush went home, he spent some time trying to repair the return pipe on the other side. We could have taken the ramp out and waited till Monday and tried to weld the pipe, but we thought we'd try and put something in place now so we can test it. Also, it's gonna make it into the video, isn't it? Also, we're up at 3 degrees, so water is no longer frozen, so the first tank here is now refilling. But before I leave here tonight, I need to make sure that I turn off the feed to ensure it doesn't freeze overnight and bust all the pipes and then run tomorrow and then come back on Monday and we've wasted about 1 million gallons of water and the whole yard is like dancing on ice. I have our sensor installed. I'll just walk past it and see if that works. If not, I'll have to manually do it. Walking past the sensor. No, it did not work. We're gonna have to manually run it. There we go. Okay, there's one pump. Now I put the return pump on as well. Let's get around the other side. Well done, Bartek. No leak.
It's Monday the 30th of December. It's 7 a.m. and we're in the yard. We continue the work which needs to... It's Monday the 31st of December. No, it's not. Monday the 30th of December, 7 a.m. and we're in the yard. We continue... No, what do we do? It's Monday the 30th of this...
Because if you keep using your head...
Seems a lot of men around one little hole.
Gives you a better idea. No, I'm starting again. Peter? Okay.
Thank you to everyone who watched in 2023. No, it's 2024. See, that just summarizes the whole thing.
You know, and then when I got to that point, I then thought, well, why did you do that? And I tried to chase, and what's the day? Thursday. And that's it for Ashville Weekly, episode 222. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click down here for an Ashville video you may not have seen before. Click down here for last week's episode, which was number 201. It's absolutely freezing and the temperature's going to drop to -3 tonight. Nah, man, I thought this was going to end quickly. I've got things doing, man. I ain't got time to wait for this. There we go. Should be no water left in any of these pipes. We are ready for the big freeze, and that machine is ready to go out on Monday morning.